Hey, friend. Welcome to my normal little kitchen. Today we're going to be making two super easy recipes, steak bites and sweet potatoes, accompanied by a Caesar salad. We're going to make the dressing ourselves. And the second dish is going to be a creamy spinach ricotta pasta with spicy shrimp and garlic roasted broccoli. Here are the ingredients we will need for our steak and potatoes dinner. Before we begin, I need to put on my mandil. This is a traditional Mexican apron, beautifully embroidered. I grew up watching my grandmother always cooking in her mandiles. Now I wear them to honor her memory and my cultural roots. Let's light a couple of candles for ambiance. I always enjoy having that little flickering candlelight in the background as I'm making a meal. And let's grab a bevy of choice. I'm gonna go with a sparkling juice. These little touches make the experience a little bit more special because it is a special thing to be able to feed ourselves and our families. Okay, we are ready to cook. We're going to start by preheating our oven to 425 degrees and tackling the item on our menu that is going to take the longest, our sweet potatoes. With a very sharp knife, we are just going to stab it. Stab it many times. This will help it cook more evenly and release the steam. Next, we're going to add a little bit of olive oil and a little bit of salt. We're going to give that a good rubbing. Reminder, this is a no dirty thoughts zone. We're going to take our sweet potatoes and wrap them up in foil. As soon as that oven hits 425, we're going to place them on our baking sheet, and these will bake while we make the rest of the meal. As you can probably tell, I am not a professional chef. I have zero culinary training. I am just a home cook who really enjoys making meals for myself, for my family, for my friends, and trying my best to make my grandma proud. I wish she could see me in my mandil, cooking in my kitchen. Growing up, she used to have a cenaduria, which is a very kind of casual restaurant that's usually run out of someone's home. And my grandmother was famous for her seasoning. One of her famous dishes was enchiladas, and people would come from neighboring towns. I mean, they would, make a date out of coming to my grandmother's cenaduria. And when I run into people today, they still mention how they remember my grandmother's food. Okay, the garlic is chopped. Now we need to make our steak seasoning. So we need onion powder, dried thyme, dried oregano, dried parsley. And if you have like an extra container, I have this parsley one that I went through, grab that, super helpful. And we're going to add all of our aromatics, well, once we find a spoon that fits. None of my tablespoons work, so I had to get this funnel. Okay, now we're adding our spices, and we're going to do that evenly, so equal parts for all of the herbs. And now we have ourselves a nice little steak seasoning that we can use for any time. I went ahead and labeled mine and added the ingredients on the back. So the equal parts of onion powder, oregano, parsley, and thyme. And then I added also equal parts of garlic powder because I know that's going to go really well together. And yeah, Now it's ready to go for next time I make steaks. Speaking of, here is our steak. I am using top sirloin, about 2.5 pounds, and we'll need a super sharp knife. We're slicing our steak into about 3-inch pieces and cutting away any of these fat bits that we see. We're going to salt and pepper our steak very generously. Then we're going to add our seasoning. I did about 2 tablespoons. Next is olive oil, a couple of circles around your pan. Around 2 tablespoons of our freshly chopped garlic, and then we're going to make sure we incorporate that really well, massaging all of the seasonings into our steak. Our steak is looking beautifully seasoned. We're going to let that rest while we prepare our salad dressing. Here are the ingredients for my super easy Caesar dressing. Anyone can make it. The clam juice is optional. I kind of add that to sub for the anchovies, and with lots of fresh garlic, of course. We need a few gloopy spoonfuls of mayonnaise. I did about half a cup. It's a lot of dressing, so Some good mustard. I'm using that Grey Poupon. A full tablespoon or so of that. Worcestershire sauce, about half a tablespoon to a full tablespoon, depending on your taste. I like to do a full tablespoon. Clam juice, if you're using it, 1 tablespoon. Totally up to you if you want to use it, but if you can find it, if you can indulge in it, I really recommend it. It really adds just a lovely touch to the dressing. Pepper generously, as well as lots of garlic, about a tablespoon and a half, since I had leftovers. Now we need the zest and the juice of 1 fairly large lemon, or we can use 2 small ones. When zesting, just make sure that we go a little bit at a time. We're turning the lemon so that we don't end up with that white stuff. It's bitter and we don't want that in our dressing. Just the golden bits, like this. This is such a satisfying part for me, squeezing all that citrusy goodness out of the lemons. It's so fragrant. Taking our whisk, or we can use a fork, we're going to give that a quick mix before we add our last ingredient. Cheese. About 4 heaping tablespoons of grated Parmesan, the kind from the block, not the plastic container. After 5 minutes of vigorous whisking, we should have a nice, smooth consistency.
Yeah.
Bomb actually.
Bomb.
I recommend it.
Dressing is done, so now let's prepare our steak pouches. I did about 4 or 5 pieces per pouch. Add a little sliver of butter and a few sprigs of thyme. It's okay if you don't have any, but if you can get it, it's going to add a wonderful aromatic touch to your steak, and it's going to infuse the butter with that herby goodness. It's just delicious. There's no right or wrong way to make the steak pouches. We just need to make sure we have enough aluminum foil and that we are sealing the ends as tightly as we can to make sure we keep all of the buttery juices. We're ready for the oven. We just need to move our sweet potatoes from the top rack to the bottom rack. They've been cooking for about 35 minutes, but they need about another 25 minutes, which is how long we're going to be cooking our steaks for. Steak has been in the oven for about 15 minutes, so we're going to use the last 10 minutes or so to put together our salad. We've got some croutons, some roasted pumpkin seeds, and Parmesan cheese. You know how croutons always come in these obnoxiously large square pieces? I really don't like that, so we're going to give it a bit of a smashing. Our croutons are smashed, our salad dressing is prepared and smelling absolutely delicious. Now we decorate our salad greens with this garlicky, citrusy goodness that we whipped up with our own hands with just a few ingredients from our pantry. A sprinkling of roasted pumpkin seeds for a nice crunchy bite. Our smashed croutons. You see how much better the texture is? I just much prefer it that way. And of course, a good amount of Parmesan cheese. It is my dream to someday travel to Italy and bring myself a big wheel of Parmigiano Reggiano. Oh, how I dream of that day. Salad is looking lovely. After letting them rest for 5 minutes, it's time to unwrap our beautiful little bites. Those few minutes allowed our steak to really absorb all of the butter, all of the garlic, the herbal notes of the thyme. The aroma is just beautiful. The sweet potatoes are fork soft after cooking for 55 minutes. I love that buttery sheen. Transfer our steak and potatoes to a plate, and we're going to top that off with all of the remaining golden juices. Hun's plate is ready. Let's take it over. I really enjoy fixing my husband his plate. It makes me feel proud to present the food I made him. And look at me almost spilling it all over him. Oh no. Sorry, hun. Got my plate. And this is dinner. The steak was delicious and tender. The salad was citrusy and garlicky. Everything was delicious. And anyone can make this dish. I hope you try it. Enjoy. All right, now let's make our second recipe. Spicy shrimp sautéed in butter and garlic, a creamy spinach ricotta spaghetti, and garlic roasted broccoli. Select my mandil for the night. This one matches my dress. Let's start by chopping up some garlic. I almost always start with that step just because it's so much easier to have it done kind of at the beginning, especially if we're using it in multiple dishes. We need 1 large onion. I always cut off both of the ends, a slit through the middle, and then that makes it so much easier to take that outer icky part of the skin right off. There's something so familiar, so reassuring about the way that so many recipes the world over start with chop up some garlic and chop up some onions. We want the slices to be somewhat thin. Not even halfway through the onion, and I could already feel my eyes just stinging. I thought I read somewhere that candles are supposed to help with that, but this wasn't helping me. I was suffering succotash over here. In this kitchen, big girls do cry, but they also finish the job like a soldier. Okay, our one large onion is chopped up. Now we need to add some olive oil to our pan, about 1 tablespoon, and about 1 tablespoon-ish of butter. Melting it over medium heat since we don't want the butter to burn. Once that melts, we're going to add the garlic. This is about 3 cloves, 3 pretty large cloves. I just love those first fragrant notes. The garlic has been cooking for around 3 minutes, and now we're going to add our sliced onion. The onion has cooked for around 8 to 10 minutes, and now we've added the shrimp. We're going to cook the shrimp around 15 minutes before we add salt and pepper, both of which we're going to add generously. I give it a few minutes before adding the salt because I buy frozen shrimp and it lets out a lot of water. Now for the spice, some crushed red pepper flakes. In our household, we really love our spice, so I'm adding a nice big heaping pile of red pepper flakes. Just a dash more. Perfect. While cooking our shrimp, we're going to set out a pot of water to boil our spaghetti, and we're going to add a nice big handful of salt. Okay, maybe not a handful, but definitely a few tablespoons. We want nice salty water for our pasta. And as the shrimp is cooking and the water is boiling, we're going to prepare the broccoli. Super easy, just a few dashes of extra virgin olive oil and some generous amounts of salt and pepper, freshly chopped garlic, and we're going to give that a good mix. Make sure we incorporate it into all the little broccoli crevices. The shrimp has been cooking for around 25 minutes, and this is what it looks like after I removed the excess moisture. That's very common with frozen shrimp. I really don't like watery shrimp, so I remove that, and then on low heat, we add a little bit of butter and let that kind of slowly melt into the shrimp. Okay, our pasta sauce, or not sauce, our water is roaring away, and we have the broccoli in the oven now, which are going to bake at 425 degrees for 20 minutes. While the broccoli cooks, we're going to whip up the pasta sauce. We need around 2 cups of tightly packed spinach and about 1 cup of ricotta, and pulse that up in our blender. It is very thick at this stage, so we will need to use a spatula to kind of help us out with the blending. I like my pasta super cheesy. I added around half a cup of grated pecorino romano. Once we have that blended, we're going to add the juice of 1 large lemon and give that another few blends. It's been 20 minutes, so out with the broccoli that we have in the oven. Our pasta has also been cooking and is ready. So now we need to drain it, and we need to make sure we reserve around 1 cup of the pasta water. broccoli is nice and roasted, our shrimp is buttery and sautéed, and now it's time to finish up our pasta sauce. I love that verdant green. It is very thick, so at this point our pasta water comes in. We're going to add a cup, well, almost a cup, of hot pasta water. Give that a quick blend, and then we should end up with this beautiful consistency. Creamy and rich, yet light. Top it off with a little extra pecorino romano. And give that a good mix-ins. Look at that. Beautiful jade-drenched strands. The sauce is rich from the ricotta, but citrusy light from the lemon. It has lots of spinach, but it's really only a hint in the flavor. You can barely taste it. And together with the cheese and the garlic, beautiful aroma. And just like that, our dinner is ready. Our garlic roasted broccoli with our spicy buttery shrimp, our beautiful pasta, and just one last touch, a squeeze of lemon over the shrimp that I like to do at the very, very last minute so that it doesn't burn and it's just that fresh lemony flavor. Mix that well, and we're ready. I tried to find occasions or excuses to use my nice plates. This day was the last day we had dinner with our Christmas decorations up, and that was special enough a reason for me. Really, any meal that I get to share with my hun in our home is a special occasion. All right, we have dinner plated. Now it's time to serve. First my hun, and me. And look at us making our own pasta sauce with our shrimp and our broccoli. We made ourselves a beautiful meal. If you're intimidated by the kitchen, don't be. You can do it. And you deserve it. I really hope you give these easy recipes a try. Learning to cook has been a journey of exploration for me. An exploration of my roots in the form of cooking traditional recipes, an exploration of my personal tastes, and a development of my palate. But above all, learning to cook has given me a deep satisfaction. I've learned an important life skill. I can feed myself and my family. I can make my own recipes. And I can only hope that maybe someday my loved ones will remember my cooking as I do my grandmother's. And that's it for this video. Thank you for spending your time with me, friend. Take care, okay? Bye.